Okay, good. And we are live on the Tubes of You as well. Candace, thank you so much for the roses. All right. So, people love to pretend that it happens, or it only happens over there, okay? That child brides are someone else's problem. But the ugly truth is, here in the United States, hundreds of thousands of children have been legally married, many to grown men. Laws give predators loopholes. Families and institutions look the other way, okay? But when a grown man targets 14, 15, or a 16-year-old, he's not looking for love, okay? He's buying compliance, secrecy, and control, right? He wants a life partner who hasn't finished school, who hasn't learned to say no, who can be isolated and remade. That's not romance. That's a strategy to rob a child of her childhood, okay? Her education, her health, and her future. So this morning I'm going to show you how the laws enable this and why the harm is lifelong and what we can do to stop pretending that this is culturally normal. All right, so stick with me for a bit because this really does matter. And Momo, good morning. And Mandy, thank you so much for power sharing the live. All right. So let's talk about what child marriage is in the United States, okay? So child marriage is defined as any marriage that takes place where one of the people involved, one party, is under the age of 18. Okay. So, like I said earlier, there's 34 states where child marriage still exists. Okay. And instead of having a nationwide ban, golly. But I want to tell you about these weird 4 states, okay? There's 4 states that have actually been identified as having absolutely no minimum age requirement, okay? This is important. Let me grab this real quick. The 4 states are, and this was actually surprising to me, California, Mississippi, New Mexico, and Oklahoma are the 4 states that do not have an official minimum age for marriage, okay? But here's the thing. They do have to have parental consent, court approval, okay? Or, let's see, both for... Look, okay, and court approval seems kind of weird. Put a 1 in the chat, actually, if you knew that there were a few states that had 0 minimum age for marriage. Put a 1 in the chat if you knew that. Because I didn't know. Yeah, I was shocked about California. What's going on, Keisha? Let's see, you're saying, unfortunately, fiancés within the parent household. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought every state had at least some kind of minimum, like 14 or something. Yeah, that was a complete shock to me, okay? So let's talk about this real quick. How many children have actually been affected? Because, I mean, you know, our country's pretty big. And it seems like there wouldn't be a whole lot of child marriages. But let's get into that real quick. Okay, so according to... I've got some stuff pulled up. Let's see, this website is talking about U.S. child marriage. It's the Stop Child Marriages site. It's a .org. And I want to just give y'all some information real quick. Whenever I give you like any kind of citation or anything, I am never going to like a .com. I only get my information from .orgs, .edus, and .govs. Okay? So just to get that out of the way. I don't go to any just regular old .com sites. Okay? So this is saying that between the year 2000 and 2018, nearly 300,000 children were married, okay? And, oh God, a few of them were as young as 10 years old. A few were as young as 10. Between the ages of 2000 and 2018 in the United States. All right. I don't know. Actually, you know what? Put a broken heart in the chat if that age surprises you. I just said like a few of them were as young as 10 years old. Put a broken heart in the chat if that surprises you. That this is actually going on. 2000 to 2018. A few people's 10-year-old children were getting married to grown adults. Yeah. Yep. All right, let me shout out the top viewers real quick. Mandy is number 1, Momo's number 2, Candace is number 3, Anna's number 4, and Carolina Queen is number 5. I do appreciate y'all so much. Hey, Caitlin. I didn't see you come in there. All right. Actually, I do want to know, too, who didn't it surprise? This 10-year-old situation. Was anybody in here just not shocked? And I want to know, if you weren't shocked, why were you not shocked? And I'm seeing some stuff. While I'm waiting for y'all to answer that, let's see, it's because much law systems are still heavily patriarchal. Yeah. Our system has got used to the exploitation of women. 100%. Yep. Oh. All right. We've got someone that worked to change the laws in Delaware and New Jersey. That's awesome. Yeah. Holly Weird is also in California. All right. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Oh, Lynn, thank you so much for the heart sign. Let's see. Who lets their 10-year-old marry? I don't know. That's why I'm going to tell y'all something. I lived in California between the ages of like 11 and 18. Okay. And I remember being in junior high. No, it was like junior high or high school. But I remember being on the bus on the way to school. And the kids that I went to class with, like I was sitting with some girls. And they were talking about how, like, this one girl that, you know, we knew wasn't in school. Like, we hadn't seen her for a while. And I guess one of her neighbors was like, well, her parents let her get married. She was like 15. That was the first time that I had ever heard of a child getting married. Yeah, she was 15 years old. This was in California. Actually, Yucaipa, California. Yucaipa. And, yeah. For those, if Yucaipa actually sounds familiar, remember that case that just happened not too long ago, where that little baby disappeared. That woman was trying to make it sound like her child got kidnapped. What's going on, Restless Dreamer? She was trying to make it sound like her child got kidnapped, and the parents just really just unalived the baby, and I don't even know if they found him, but that was also Yucaipa. Let's see, we have no choice but to step in and lead. Yeah, exactly. All right. So yeah, let's talk about who actually gets targeted, though, okay? So most minors who were married were between the ages of 16 and 17 in this country, okay? A substantial minority was even younger in some cases, all right, which is what we just talked about, where there were a few 10-year-olds getting married, okay? About 80 to 80% of the minors married were girls, okay? Commonly marrying men several years older, all right? Now, I want to know from y'all, if you were 16 years old and had to marry a grown man, what do you think you would do? Would you obey or would you run, do you think? Would you obey or would you run away? Said I'd commit a crime. Run away, I'd be fighting it. Run. Neither I'd attack. Oh boy. Someone said obey. And I'm actually pretty sure most would obey. Oh no. I was groomed into a situation that almost played out. Just going with it. That is awful. That is awful. Yeah, at 16 I would obey. And I think that's how a lot of that stuff happens, is because what is the 16-year-old going to do? Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? You know, a lot of 16-year-olds can't drive. A lot of 16-year-olds don't have any money. Where are they going to go? Let's see, as a teen, I always thought older guys were gross and creepy over 20. At 16 years old, I would have started fighting. That's how I was when I was a kid. And then run. Yeah, this is really, really sad. Tell anyone at school the situation. Candace, I'm going to tell you right now, I think a lot of the people that end up in that situation are taken out of school. A lot of them are taken out of school by their parents. Yeah. Oh my God. And y'all, I forgot to mention, the panel is going to open up for discussion. The panel is going to open up for discussion once we hit this rose goal, okay? If it was a woman, it's different. I wouldn't call it grooming. No, it doesn't matter if the adult is a man or a woman. It's still grooming. We have an issue in our country where, I don't know. Actually, it's kind of strange. Kind of like when, who remembers Mary Kay Letourneau, that teacher that was abusing her student? Does anybody remember her? Okay. Yeah, she was definitely grooming her student. Okay, now for the people that are old like me, okay, does anybody remember the conversations that the men and the boys were having about that situation? Yeah, she's gone now. Does anybody remember what men and boys were talking about during that time? Yep. Yep. Lucky kid. They were proud. Even now, yeah. Men have a different outlook on grooming. They were praising him. Exactly. They thought it was a flex. Exactly. It's still grooming. However, our society sees stuff like that as kind of a rite of passage. I think there was who was it? There was some famous guy. I forgot who it was. I think he's a rapper. There was some famous guy basically bragging about how he took his young teenage son, his underage son, to a prostitute so he could lose his virginity. And he was thinking that was a flex. He thought it was cool. And it's like, dude, do you realize that that's a crime? Yes. Okay, that's right. It was Boosie. Yeah, what a moron. That is the craziest thing ever. So, yeah, that's child abuse. But men have a different view of what child abuse is, like when it comes to boys and men. They really don't see themselves as victims, it seems like. It's almost like they only see themselves as victims if they are victimized by a man. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Put a 1 in the chat if you get what I'm saying. Like, it seems like men really only count like abuse like that. They don't count it as grooming or abuse unless it was committed by a man. But it doesn't matter, because I've heard people, like, even when I was in the military, I worked with a guy who was telling me about, like, yeah, he lost his virginity when he was like like 12 from his babysitter, and he thought it was cool. And I'm like, that was a crime? Yeah, they think it's bragging rights. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. But please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, which opens up the panel for discussion, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Let's see. You said your ex had the same story. Yeah, it's interesting when it comes to them. Which is bad, because they don't even understand that there's like really harm that's done. Yeah. Oh my God. Let's see. When I was homeless, I was a 16-year-old, or I was 16, and an old man and I, was told it was illegal in Massachusetts, but not sure. Okay. Yeah, patriarchy is harmful to women and men. Let's see. Not talking about me. I didn't mean me. Okay. What's the panel of discussion? Let's see. Once we reach 1,000 roses, guests will be able to come up and speak on this topic. That's what I mean, Livy. Let's see. Rustus is saying, I worked with a 19-year-old and she came up behind me and put her hands in my front pockets. I was 13. Oh my God. That's scary. Let's see. Have y'all seen the video about the boy in Oklahoma? I don't know. I haven't. Yeah. All right. Didn't they lower the age? Okay. I'm going to pin this comment real quick because here's that's actually a rumor. Because there was something going on saying that people were trying to get the age lowered to 14. I thought that was true too, but it's actually, there's nothing official on that. Let's see. My ex-husband was abused by a man, and as a child, but a woman also at 15. Yeah, he only thought the man was bad. Right, Phoenix. It's very strange. Let's see. I was groomed at 16 by a 21-year-old. He told me I was out of shape and drink this. I was oh God. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Let's see. You heard about the 43-year-old woman that just had a baby with a 14-year-old. No, but yuck. Let's see. Each state needs to check the legal age. All are different. Right. There should be a national age. I don't know. I think there should be a national age on that. What do y'all think? Put a 1 in the chat if you think there should be a national, like a national minimum age for getting married. Because the idea of marrying a child is just freaking crazy. Let's see, your aunt's friend groomed me, and my family defended her saying I was lying. That is horrifying. Sometimes just because it's legal doesn't make it right. Exactly. I don't think it's ever right for a child. The prefrontal cortex isn't even developed. Okay? It's developed for people at different rates, but it's somewhere between the ages of 25 and 27. Some people say 28. But the brain isn't even all done baking yet. And you've got children being put into a marriage, which is just freaking ridiculous. Let's see, if they marry in one state and then move somewhere else, it's still legal for them. So weird. Yeah, it's really disgusting. Okay. All right, so let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about the law. Yeah, I'm not battling today. Let's talk about the law and how state loopholes enable predatory marriages, okay? So, there are some exceptions, okay? Parental consent, judicial approval, which I'm still trying to understand that, okay? And pregnancy exceptions. And also emancipation, okay? So these different things carve out legal ways for minors to get married. Okay, but that patchwork is the reason why many states still allow the child marriage. Okay. Let's look at this page over here. It's from the, I'm probably not going to pronounce it right, but it's the Tyree Justice Center. I'm probably saying it wrong. Okay. This is actually a story. Well, it's entitled Ending Child Marriage State by State. Okay, 16 states plus the District of Columbia have banned this insidious form of child abuse. In 34 states, predators remain empowered. Okay, and it looks like a short paragraph of a personal story. At 13, this young girl was forced to marry a man twice her age. No one asked her, no one stopped it, she said. Instead of homework and band practice, her teenage years were filled with psychological and sexual violence. She escaped into homelessness. She survived by trading her body for shelter and food. And after all, she's saying, after all, it seemed to carry no other value. Golly. But today, this woman is a leader in the movement to end child marriage. Now, oh my God. Okay, so this was actually released in July 9th of 2025, okay? So it says that 10 years ago, so in 2015, child marriage was legal in all 50 states, okay? Since launching the national movement to end child and forced marriage in 2016, I'm saying it wrong, the Tahir Justice Center has worked with survivor advocates to ban or limit this form of child abuse in numerous states. Okay, here's how the states stack up today. Child marriage banned in 16 plus DC. Okay, and it lists the ones that it's banned. Connecticut, Delaware, DC, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Virginia, and Washington. Those states, plus the District of Columbia, have banned child marriage. Let's see. Now, here's where it's still legal, okay? 34 states. Alabama. I don't know. I got beef with Alabama. Arkansas. Let me see. If some of these other states... Oklahoma. Yeah. Okay. Y'all, okay, this is about to deviate a little bit from this stuff, but I do have a whole outline that's about the types of diseases, like the top 9 diseases that men contract while they're in prison. Okay. And these different diseases can be spread to women. All right. And I talk about how much it costs to treat them or cure them and what the pregnancy impact is. And there's a few states in our country that right now have laws on the books that are trying to prosecute women that have miscarriages or stillbirths. Okay. And some of these states that allow child marriage also have these really jacked up laws on the books just waiting to throw a woman in prison for having a stillbirth or a miscarriage. So it's not a coincidence that, yeah, we're looking at child marriages in places like Oklahoma, Alabama, Arkansas. Let me see. South Carolina is one of them. I think Texas is one of them. But let me list the states. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, which I'm still shocked. Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, which I'm sad about, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming still have legalized child marriage. Okay? Now, it says that the state's laws on when children can marry vary. Okay? But only a total ban on marriage under the age of, majority will fully protect children. So this is just gross. It's just gross. Okay. All right. Please like the live, please share the live, and if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. And real quick, let me shout out my top viewers. Mandy is number 1, Momo's number 2, Carolina Queen is number 3, Candace is number 4, and Flocken is number 5. Thank you all so much. And Becky, thank you so much for getting your daily heart me. Henley, thank you for getting your daily heart me as well. Okay. So, judicial marriage. Do y'all really think that a judge should be able to decide a child's life for them in that way? Okay? Do you think a judge should be able to just say, yeah, you can get married? Hey, here, 10-year-old. Yeah, you can get married. Let's see, Colorado is 16, 17 with approval. Otherwise, must be 18. Is that what you're referring to? Yes. Yes. Yes, it allows child marriages. Thank you, the redhead and Livy for the roses. Thank you. Yeah, disappointed in Colorado. Yeah, so am I. Now, there was something in here. Let's see. You know what? I'm just going to read this page because it's short. This is actually, because some of this information is from Equality Now. Yes, Equality Now, okay, .org. Child marriage in the United States. And it also talks about the statutory rape exception. Miss Brightside, thank you for the daily heart me. Okay, so, again, child marriage is a harmful practice and a profound manifestation of gender inequality. It is a human rights violation. Yes, human rights violation. That legitimizes abuse and denies girls autonomy. It disproportionately affects girls and has wide-ranging consequences for their rights, to education, to the highest attainable standard of health, including sexual and reproductive health, to protection from violence, and to freedom from sexual exploitation and abuse. Equality Now and our partners advocate that the minimum age for marriage be set at 18, no exceptions. Let's see. So let's talk about the statutory rape exception, okay? All right, so statutory, we know, okay, what that is. Occurs when one of the parties to activity, to intercourse, is below the age of consent. It does not have to be forcible because the minor is not legally able to provide consent. That's important, okay? In most states, child marriage is considered as a valid defense to statutory rape, okay? The marital defense to statutory also used to be permitted under federal law, okay? And the federal law was 18 U.S.C. section 2243, okay? So while that federal law was amended by the Violence Against Women Reauthorization Act of 2022 to eliminate this statutory defense, okay, a similar defense still exists in the United States, military code, okay, under 10 U.S.C. section 920B. So if you're in the military, I guess, you can still marry a child. The exception under 10 U.S.C. section 920B and similar exceptions under state law suggest that the U.S. government condones the practice of child marriage, giving predators an incentive to force a child to marry them to evade criminal liability. The law can effectively turn child marriages into a get-out-of-jail-free card for predators. These laws must be repealed to align U.S. laws with international standards and discourage child marriage and SA in the country. So again, that is from equalitynow.org, okay? Let's talk about, again, well, we talked about the scale, okay? So I'm going to skip that part because I already talked about it. Oh, wait, no. I started at... Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I guess I scrolled. I was looking for something. I lost my place real quick. Okay. So why do you think... Actually, I'm going to ask y'all. Why do you think older men seek young girls? Okay, because that's what we're about to talk about. We're going to talk about the psychology and incentives, okay? So y'all keep that, yeah, vulnerable to control them. Uh-huh. Yeah. Vulnerability. Yeah. Control. Right. Let's talk about power and control, okay? Younger partners are easier to isolate, okay? They are. Now, let me pull up this information from, let's see, stopchildmarriages.org. Okay. Actually, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this up here after I talk about this. Okay, so power and control, because younger partners are they're easier to isolate and manipulate. They're kids. They typically can't work, because we have child labor laws. So how are they going to get a job? They're not going to be able to drive. They're not going to, where are they going to go? They're not probably going to have access to money. They're not going to be able to get away. Okay, they are stuck. All right. Lower sexual agency, okay? Because they're children, they're less likely to say no, okay? And they're less likely to report abuse, okay? Yes, we are definitely talking about under 18. Some children as young as 10, Atlas, have been married between the year 2000 and 2018. A few of those children were 10 years old. Yes, it is absolutely insane. That is what's happening in this country. As we talk about other countries that have child marriage, we've got it right at our doorstep. There needs to be a universal, a federal law that just ends child marriage altogether. Okay? Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Once we get this live goal finished, I will open up the panel for discussion. Okay, we are more than half of the way there. And I do appreciate everybody that's contributed so far. Thank you so much. Okay. So here's the next thing. Legal protection. Okay. Marriage licenses can easily erase statutory rape liability in practice. Again, okay, it's basically a get out of jail free card. If you go ahead and marry the person you're abusing, okay, and I don't know, does anybody in here know anybody that's gotten married that way? Does anybody in here know a young girl that got married that way because her parents didn't want Joe Jack down the street to go to jail because they like him, and so they just went ahead and let their daughter marry him? Oh man, she was only, yikes. Your aunt, that happened to you, pain to purpose, I'm so sorry. Wow, girl was married to her pastor. Your grandmother, totally normal in Appalachia. Uh-huh. Let's see. Example of the 16-year-old marrying the 21-year-old. Her parents had passed away. Yeah, only 14. Your aunt was 15. You're in Virginia. Uh-huh. Let's see. Your mom was married at 15. And your brother's dad was old enough to enlist. Yeah, that is wild. That is really messed up. Okay. And then the last part is about social and economic leverage. Okay. A young spouse tied to family or financial dependency. Because again, where are they going to go? A child isn't going to have very much agency. They're not going to have a whole lot of support. All their supporters are children. What are the children going to do? You're not going to have anybody. Oh, thank y'all so much for completing the live goal. All right. But you're not going to get help from other children. You'd have to depend on adults for assistance. And also, children typically don't have money. They don't have money. And in a lot of cases, when it comes to child marriage, where again, the majority of them, the overwhelming majority, are happening with little girls, okay, being married to grown men, the grown men want those women isolated. She's not going to be able to go work a job, because if she can work a job, then she could get away from him. They want to make sure she stays at the house. All right. Let me shout out the people that contributed to the live goal. Mandy, Momo, Livy, Resist, Carolina Queen, Candy Cane, Flockin, Henley, What a Trip, Gardening Grunge, The Redhead, Restless, Anna, Sabrina, Crystal, Beautifully Broken, Phoenix, Black Widow, TB, Sadie, Lisa, Opal, Queen, Debbie, and Michelle. Thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate that. Every coin helps me keep women out of orange jumpsuits. And in today's situation, just spreads awareness about kind of some really jacked up crap that's going on in our country, where little girls are targeted for stuff that no girl should go through, especially in a country like ours, especially when we're, it's actually kind of interesting because we point the finger at other people's human rights violations all the time. Actually, that, I'm not going to get too much into that. But y'all know what I'm talking about. If you've been following the news for 20 years or more, okay, our country loves to point the finger at other folks. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to point the finger, because human rights violations are human rights violation. It doesn't matter where it's happening. However, we have some very serious human rights violations right here at our doorstep that we're not taking care of. In fact, it seems like the lawmakers are trying to find more and more ways to keep it happening. Okay? Yeah, Miss Harris, you're talking about the horrifying number of women trafficked in our country. Yes, that's right. The trafficking, and this is also a form of trafficking, I would say. Okay. Oh, Mandy and everyone else so far, thank you so much for the finger hearts. So let's talk about this right here. Okay, because this is from stopchildmarriages.org. I'm just going to read y'all the information from this page, because this is just scary. Okay, so this is where I got the number about the nearly 300,000 children married. Okay, 300,000 children between 2000 and 2018 were married to grown-ups. Okay, and some of them were 10. Okay, as young as 10 years old. All right, let's see. It says in here that was one of the key findings of the Unchained at Last study, released in April of 2021 on the extent of child marriage in the U.S. Other findings included some 60,000 marriages since 2000 occurred at an age or with a spousal age difference that should have constituted a sex crime under the relevant state's laws. So again, 60,000 marriages, approximately, since 2000 had something to do with getting out of jail free for statutory. 96% of the children married were ages 16 or 17, okay? But here's what's jacked up, y'all. When you're a child and you are able to get married, you can't file for divorce. If a judge says you can get married as a child, you can't file for divorce. Exactly, because you're not old enough. If your parents allow you to marry some grown-up and that man harms you, not only can you not file for divorce, but you also cannot enter a domestic violence shelter. And also, most of the minors who were married were girls wed to adult men with an average of 4-year age difference. All right. So again, child marriages are mostly girls. In the U.S. and across the world, okay, why can't you enter a DV shelter? I don't know. In the U.S. and across the world, child marriage and forced marriage disproportionately affects girls and women. Some 86% of the children who married were girls, and most were wed to adult men, age 18 or older. The average spousal age of girls who were married was 4 years, whereas when boys married, the average spousal age was less than a year and a half. So if boys were getting married underage, they weren't marrying like old ass ladies. They were marrying women, which is still wrong, but they were marrying women who were like right about their age. But that was not happening to the girls. Please like the live, please share the live, and if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heartbeat and please subscribe. So let's get a little deeper into why child marriage is a really big problem in the USA. And again, this is from stopchildmarriages.org. Again, no federal laws. Does CPS even step in? If not, what can they do? What can they do? If they're legally married, this is the problem, okay? This is why it's a loophole. No federal laws regulate child marriage. Each state sets its own legislation for marriage laws. Thank you. Federal laws do not prevent trafficking of child brides. Someone in here mentioned trafficking a little bit earlier. It is trafficking, okay? Federal laws do not even prevent trafficking of child brides. What do y'all think that means? That means okay. I know everybody in here has probably heard something about the FLDS in Utah and other states, because they're not just located in Utah. They're located in like hell in other countries too. But they're like the sect of the Mormon church. They're technically not Mormons anymore, but they still, follow the Book of Mormon, whatever. But yeah. They're in Colorado. Does that mean it's the decision of each individual state? Yes, Holly. Yes. States' rights, and most states have it where it's the state's right to say that, yeah, a child can get married. Yeah, polygamous. Yeah, in those states. Now, okay, where there's polygamy, typically those girls that are getting married, none of those are legally married to the guy anyway. However, there are children getting legal. There's children getting moved, basically. Children, little girls, are getting moved to places to get, I guess, delivered to grown men for marriage, is what's happening in our country. You think that at the very least they'd emancipate the minor or let them have legal adult status. But that's the thing, Hannah. That's not the point. The point is to make sure that the girl doesn't have rights. Why would they give the girl some more rights? The whole goal is to have her under the control of some grown man. So it would be counterproductive to give that child emancipation, because then she could go file for divorce. The reason they're going to get the little girls is so that they can't get divorced, so that they can be groomed and do whatever these people want. It is, they're not going to do anything to emancipate those little girls. They're going to get them as young as they possibly can and then abuse them. And then maybe by the time she's 18 years old, she's been hoping to, somehow get away, and then gets away. But I mean, at 18, if she's been in this child bride situation, like since the time, because the average is 16 or 17, that means she more than likely wasn't able to work. She didn't have a job. She probably didn't have any access to money. She has no, maybe not even a phone. No car, no driver's license, nothing. Because it was designed that way. Okay? But yeah, many states do not have a minimum age. Let's see, only Delaware, Minnesota, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island, and New York outlaw marriage before 18 with no exceptions. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's talk about no way out. So again, when you're a child in one of these marriages, you have no divorce rights. You're stuck. There's no divorce rights. You don't have the ability to file a protective order. Good morning, Chantel. So if you're being abused and you have the wherewithal, you understand like, hey, this is definitely wrong and this shouldn't be happening to me. And then you go try to report, you can't even get a protective order. And then again, the not having the ability to go into a domestic violence shelter. Now, here's a little paragraph that it talks about this. Children in the U.S. typically are not allowed to initiate a legal proceeding in their own name. This means, in many states, children can be entered into marriages, typically by a parent or guardian, with little or no say from them. And then they are not allowed to file for divorce or annulment in their own name or even seek a protective order. Here's something else too. Immigration for child marriage. There's a loophole in federal immigration law. A loophole in the immigration law resulted in more than 5,000 cases of adults petitioning for visas on behalf of minors, and nearly 3,000 cases of minors seeking to bring in older spouses or fiancés and enable child marriages for children as young as 14 over a 10-year period, according to a report released by the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee in January of this year. Yeah, this is terrible. Forced marriage is a serious issue. How do you even know if there's true consent? First of all, there is no such thing as consent as a child. Children can't consent to this at all. When a marriage is arranged and the bride and groom get their option to say no, they might face intense pressure from their families and society, or they might be too young and inexperienced to make such a life-altering decision. They might be rushed to give an answer before they can fully think through their options. They might be bribed or tricked. They might be grappling with implicit and or explicit threats, about the harms that will befall them and their families if they do not agree to a marriage. They might be subjected to actual violence, locked up, beaten, or shunned until they say yes. This is very disturbing. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart meal and please subscribe. Okay. All right. So that's it. That's actually it. That's all I've got. All right. That's what's happening here in our country. I'm going to open up the panel for discussion, as I stated. And yeah, if anybody has anything, this is the time. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know who that is. All right. Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing outstanding, and I just this topic just is so disturbing for me. I mean, because I get to see, the children who are really impoverished and the things that happen to them. So it's, just reading the articles about them trying to lower the age of consent to 12 in the United States, um, which is just to me just people who want to be pedophiles. That's just the bottom line. They want to be pedophiles. And if they lower the age of consent to 12, then they don't even have to bother to marry them. They can just basically, take advantage of them and, throw them out like rubbish.
Yes.
So I really wish that, I mean, women need to be more, I think, proactive in getting laws changed. I think we're really going to have to unite and force men to make those changes. Um, Especially women who are married to these politicians, how they're allowing all of these things to go. Because I really feel like we're on a planet that's hostile to women.
Mm-hmm.
We really are. And it doesn't make sense because we are the hearts of the home. And to place a child in a situation where she has to be an adult. I mean, I was saying my grandmother had married and had a child, her first child at 14. And of course, she didn't know how to raise up any children, and she didn't know how to clean house and take care of a house. Of course, it ended in divorce because she couldn't do those things. She just couldn't do it. She was too young. So the two oldest kids went to live with their grandparents. So, she later married and had more kids. But the first, I was one of the children from the first marriage. And, we were raised with the great grandparents because she was just too young.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's, and we see it all the time. I mean, they're just setting women up, and then they pass these anti-abortion laws where, basically these kids are going to be pregnant, and they don't even have the right to say, they use the kids as weapons. If you leave, you can't take your child.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, that it's just a no-win situation. So I really think it's up to us as a collective to make sure that we, put people in place to say, no, we're not letting. Did you hear about the young man that was just recently killed? His daughter was raped, and they tried to bribe him with $12,000.
No.
And he would not take it. He would not take it. He said he wanted the person prosecuted, and they killed him. They killed him, and now they did get the individuals who had done that. They have prosecuted all of them, but he definitely stood up for his daughter. The man had picked her up from school, took her shopping, spent all this money on her, and then he took her back to his place, and he assaulted her.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad found out and was like, "No, you're going to jail." But and that was a Kentucky case that happened, I think, a couple of weeks ago. It hasn't been that long ago.
Wow.
It's just crazy out here. I mean, lawlessness is reigning, and unfortunately, the weak are the ones that suffer the most. When it's like a wild, wild west out here. Everybody's just toting pistols, guns, and just raping, robbing, and looting. And unfortunately, the weak are the ones that are the most prone. So yeah, it's definitely disheartening. I have 2 granddaughters, and I'm fortunate though because they have the best dad. And I know he's going to be there for them. And even if he's not, he knows he's got some grandmamas behind him.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. IDK. Go ahead, please.
Hey. So first of all, I just want to say, was literally scrolling on my For You page and I was like, okay, wow, this is amazing. Then saw your like credentials and I was like, period. Like, I love seeing people who are so accomplished. That's like so amazing to see. I am on a younger side, so I'm actually 19. So this topic has been brought up a lot, especially now and like growing up with the political landscape. I think there's a lot of things that we need to like target. And number one, that would be like the Romeo and Juliet laws that kind of allow this to still go on. We need to target the age of consent. I think 16 is still too low. In most states, it's usually 16. There are some states that only have it as 18, but I still think that's like deplorable to have and deplorable to see. But I also think another thing that I think Bree just touched on. So the case in Kentucky of how that girl was basically lured into this situation. It's really important that we start educating like young girls that, older men are not good for you. I think it's very like taboo. I know growing up, people didn't really want to talk about that, but you would see girls in high school who would have 28, 29-year-old boyfriends and 30-year-old boyfriends and, nothing was really just like talked about. It was like, oh, it's okay, it's normal. Like they got this man who spent it on them and all these different things, but it's like, no, this is a dangerous cycle that we're continuing to repeat. And we kind of just need to like pour confidence into all these girls, because a lot of times when people are like, oh, this older man is there for us, he's doing this for us, and it's like, no, you're falling victim to a system that wasn't patched up because the women before us were too afraid. They weren't able to do the things that we're able to do now. So I really, really love this live. I want to thank everyone for speaking and like commenting, and I want to thank you for giving me the moment to speak. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, I think, golly, it would be nice if men were just not gross. Like, it would be nice if...
So agreed.
Yeah, because it's sad because it's still putting the onus on girls, on children.
Yes.
Instead
no
of...
No matter what, we're always to blame.
Right, we're always to blame. We're always in control of things that we're not in control of.
Except when it's good. If it's a good thing, then it's on them.
Right.
Even if you did it, they get the credit for it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Livy. Hello? Livy, I can't hear you. You sound so muffled.
Is this better?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. I don't have much to say. I do want to thank you for what you're doing. This needs to be something that is talked about more and like more people know about, because I do feel like it's a taboo topic when it shouldn't be. It should be something that everyone's aware of, and that it's just talked about more. Also, when it comes to grooming, because these people aren't just marrying these older people because it's a genuine connection. They're most likely groomed into it. And a lot of these relationships can also start online, like online talking. You don't necessarily have to have met this person in person and start this type of relationship. There's also that side where a lot of these relationships are formed online, and I feel like it's much easier, in my opinion, to groom someone online whenever you're just texting them, love bombing them, calling them, like showing all this affection and everything like that. The person can't really see that dark side of that person. Not necessarily that you can always see that whenever you're in person, but I just feel like, in a sense, it's easier to groom young people online. That's just my opinion. I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Real quick, Readings was asking about the number, the 300,000. Oh man, I can't get this down. Readings was asking about the 300,000. That's the United States. That is the United States between the year 2000 and 2018. 300,000 children were married in the United States. Some as young as 10 years old. What a trip. Go ahead.
I believe that this is a way for modern day enslavement, that we're dealing with domestic trafficking on a level, human trafficking and sex trafficking on a very real level. And I don't think that a lot of people even know that they're experiencing enslavement, and they're afraid to leave.
Yes, I agree with that.
Go to a hospital, if you've experienced rape and you go to a hospital to get a rape kit, it has to be done by a sane nurse. And they don't have sane nurses at every hospital. And if that test isn't done by a sane nurse, it's not admissible in a court of law. That's weird.
Well, actually, it's not weird, but every hospital should have a sane nurse, because that's yeah.
They should have 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Hold on, because now here's a question about what exactly is a sane nurse. I want to pull that up, because I don't want to miss anything.
Not a lot of people know about this. I didn't know about it until I experienced it myself.
So here is the exact definition of a sane nurse, okay? A sane nurse, or sexual assault nurse examiner, okay, is a registered nurse who has received specialized training to provide comprehensive trauma-informed care to survivors of SA, okay? And so they conduct medical examinations to collect forensic evidence, assess injuries, and provide treatment for STI and pregnancy prevention. They offer emotional support and may serve as expert witnesses in court. Okay, so that's why you can't just have like a regular RN do that. But every hospital should have sane nurses there. Yeah.
To have them would empower us, and that will only happen if we fight to have it. You don't get your rights by asking. They're not going to give us our rights. You have to fight for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Momo, you didn't know about that? Yeah. See, like, when I was in my victim advocacy courses back in the day, back when I was law enforcement, because I was a first responder for sexual assault situations. Okay. So obviously I'm not medical, not on the medical side. I'm on the cop side. And I had to go through hours and hours of training, because it's specialized training. Like, you have to be so careful with victims, because it's a traumatic experience to even go through that. And then, like, to be brave enough to get yourself to the hospital, and to be brave enough to report this. Like, it's, yeah. And there's one. They groom little boys too. Yeah, I said at the beginning. No one ever said they didn't. However, Quinn, the overwhelming majority of child marriages happen to girls. 86%, okay, between the years 2000 and 2018, 86% were little girls, and 14% were little boys. But here's the thing. Here's the big difference between the little girls that were getting married and the little boys that were getting married. For the little girls, the average age difference was about 4 years. But for the little boys, the average age difference was about a year and a half. About a year and a half. So little boys weren't marrying old ladies. Okay? They weren't marrying really grown ladies. I mean, it's still wrong. It's still wrong. But they weren't marrying, like, established ladies. But little girls were marrying established men. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Yes. Let's see. Marrying children, that's sick. Yeah. Uh-huh. What do they consider little girls age-wise? Well, between the years 2000 and 2018, 300,000 children were married, and the youngest were 10. Youngest children married in that time frame were 10 years old. The average age was 16 or 17, but again, when your prefrontal cortex isn't developed until you're like 25 to 27 or 28, 16 or 17 years old to get married is ridiculous. It should not be allowed. 18, technically, isn't even old enough to get married. When you think about how the human body develops and the human brain develops, the brain is not done cooking at 18 years old. It is crazy that young people are able to make those life-altering decisions. However, when you're 18 years old, you do have the ability to get a divorce. But when you're a child married, when you're between the ages of 17 and, well, whatever, okay, because we have 4 states in this country that allow or that don't have a minimum age, and that in the 4 states that, so you could be like a 7-year-old getting married, but those states are California, Mississippi, New Mexico, and Oklahoma, okay? No minimum age. When you're a child under the age of 18 getting married in this country, you cannot file for divorce. You cannot get a protection order, and you cannot go to a DV shelter. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
Run away, the police will return you to the abuser because that's your guardian.
Basically. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Quinn's asking, why is the benefit of child marriage solely financial or just evil? It's evil. Because financial, because really basically what it is a grown-up basically having another child in the house. So that's another mouth to feed because the child's not going to be able to eat. But what are they doing with that child? They're married to the child. They are raping the child legally. Legally. They are committing abuse to the child legally through marriage. So it's not financial. It's a control situation through and through. Through and through. Yes, it is slavery. It is abuse. It has nothing to do with the financial, because it would be cheaper for the grown-up to just not have another mouth to feed. Would anybody else like to come up? There's 2 more spots open. Yeah, it's really disgusting. Really disgusting.
You remember that situation with Aaliyah and R. Kelly, I'm sure, because we actually lived in that situation where he legally took her across state lines to marry her. Because he couldn't marry her in the state that he was in, so he had to, we've been watching these things play out for years, even with Jerry Lewis case and Elvis, when they all married young girls. And everybody made it look so glamorous, like, they got married, she's so lucky. They were children, literally, and these were men.
Yep.
And even though they could financially support them, they could not, handle the mental trauma that was going to come with those relationships.
Mm-hmm. Marvin Gaye did it as well. He married somebody that was younger. Oh my God. I didn't know.
Yeah, I think he actually married his stepdaughter?
Oh, who was that other guy that did that crap? Who was that? Like Woody Allen that did that? Like married his
Woody Allen.
yeah.
Woody Allen? Yeah, he did too.
Married his kid. Yeah. Yeah, that's gross.
He married a child that he adopted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really gross. Lisa, how's it going?
Good. How's it going?
Good.
This topic has always concerned me. But my question on this is, why aren't these young girls' parents protecting them? Why are they even allowing it to happen to begin with? I mean, the men obviously have some serious issues when there's that much age difference. But I've had friends growing up that actually allowed their 12-year-old daughter to marry somebody 15 years older than them, which was disastrous. But even then, I questioned why the girl's parents didn't fight more to put a stop to the relationship.
Probably poverty. I'm guessing poverty. Or in some cases, you got situations where like a friend of the family is harming a child, maybe gets her pregnant, and they don't want their friend to go away. They don't want to ruin his life, so they just allow the dude to marry their daughter.
Breaks my heart. Mm-hmm. And I have 2 grown daughters, so I think back to, in some ways, how overprotective I was for my girls growing up, mainly because I knew what I had done. But anyway, it just breaks my heart to even see these cases, because these girls have no way out.
Yeah.
That's it. They have no way out until they're in their 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s, because of the control.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a young girl, she was a track star, and she fell in love with her coach. And she got to the point where she was so belligerent with her mom, she didn't want to have anything to do with her, and it was because she had become intimate with this coach.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, he started running, he started putting her on track competitions across the country against her mother's will. And they literally fled, and when by the time I met them and found out the truth, she was just a few days shy of her 18th birthday.
Mm.
And they had done this for years. But now, even though this child, she was a willing participant, she still was underage. And
well, that's the thing. We can't call her. Hang on a second. I got to stop you. She's not a willing participant.
Right. I mean,
because she can't.
She was cooperating with him because she went toe to toe against her mom.
Well, because she was.
Tried,
because she was.
She had the authorities.
Because she was.
The authority.
Because she was groomed.
So she technically became a runaway.
Because she was groomed.
Right.
She was groomed.
Because she was groomed. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to the point where she wouldn't even listen to her. She wouldn't show reason at all. And sometimes that happens too, where they get so caught up with the predator that they won't even run away from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see.
So sorry.
I misunderstood. Hold on a second. I misunderstood Quinn's point about the financial gain. You were talking about the parents. Okay. I wanted to clarify that or fix that. Real quick, please like the live, please share the live, and if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heartbeat and please subscribe. Every coin that you throw in helps float the live so I can keep talking about these issues just like this here. All right, go ahead, please. Was that IDK talking?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was trying to turn on the mic. So I think one of the biggest things that I think you just addressed is like kind of the language that we use, and kind of why this continues to go on is because of the language that we use. I think we've all like live in a society where we put the blame on everyone else but who actually does it. So it will always go on the victim, and it's just like kind of just how we are as a whole. I think if we really like took the time and like literally like as I said before, like having these conversations and learning how to change the language that we use, it would honestly change so many different things. Like even legally, the way that these laws are written to blame the victim and not to put any blame on the person who literally abused and, you know, kidnapped and just like did so much to a child. And I feel like continuing on, and especially it's going to take time for us to change, it's really how we speak about it. And I think one of the biggest things I think someone mentioned, it's like, so like me growing up in the Black community, the word fast, we always used to call little girls fast, and it's like, no, she's not fast, she's being groomed. That girl is not fast. She doesn't really understand what's going on. It's just the culture that is around. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, we have a hard time in our society placing blame where the blame is due. I think part of it is because we are a patriarchy, and so men control everything. And so it's easier to say, okay, well, girls don't do this and don't do that, instead of telling men, hey, don't be a creep, you know, because that doesn't actually benefit the men. The reason we have these laws is for the benefit of gross dudes that want to have relations with children, that want to control children and make sure that they can't leave the house and get away from them. So they're not going to, they're going to place the blame. They're going to act like this issue isn't as big as it is. That's the first thing. Okay, they're going to act like the issue isn't as big as it is, and then turn it into like girls need to do A, B, and C, instead of let's just change the laws. Let's just make it so that, children can't get married. Does anybody else have anything?
Makes sense. That makes sense, because think about it.
Oh, go ahead, Bree.
Yeah, if you're not old enough to drive a car, why in the world can you be old enough to get married? You're not old enough to vote. You're not old enough to buy alcohol. You can't even join the military, but you can get married. That makes no sense at all.
Mm-mm.
None. And they need to start aligning things that the age of consent should be the age of consent to where you can buy a pack of cigarettes.
Right. Exactly.
Make the law flush across the board. You can't do these things until this time, period. And that goes to owning an AR assault rifle. Any of it. It should all be the same.
Yep. Let's see. This is something interesting. Okay, so on pbs.org, because again, we're in a patriarchy. This is why we have these laws not doing right. We have, let's see, this is an article that was written in March 24th of this year. Okay, it's entitled 147 lawmakers in 44 states accused of sexual harassment or misconduct since 2017. Okay, so we have our lawmakers just being gross. Our lawmakers are gross. Okay. Let me see. Lawmaker convicted of sex crime. Had a history of exploiting vulnerable boys. Okay, so some weirdo in North Dakota. And this is an article written March 19th of 2025. Yeah, he likes adolescent children. Oh, geez. Adolescent, impoverished, homeless children. Lawmakers. Okay, let me see if I can find another one. Oh, yeah, the whole Matt Gaetz thing. Where, yeah, that was a whole thing in 2021. Where they were looking at him for sex trafficking. Let's see. And it doesn't matter which side of the aisle. Let's see. They have, okay, who is this? Some person, Mel Reynolds, resigned in 1995 after being convicted of statutory rape. Yeah, he had, anyway, 16-year-old, okay? You've got some guy named Anthony Weiner, who was a New York congressman, 15-year-old, okay? Gary Becker. They don't have the age, but what is that? I can't even say the word. Neil Goldschmidt, 13-year-old, okay? Keith Farnham. Doesn't say, but he's got child stuff. Let's see. And who is this? Oh, a U.S. House Speaker in 2020. Oh, Jesus Christ. Dennis Hastert. Let's see. Messing with teenage boys. Let's see. Tim Nolan. Sex trafficking. Okay. Child sex trafficking. Ralph Shorty. Back in 2017, 17-year-old male prostitute. Dan Crane, 17-year-old little girl. Mark Grethen. Yeah, kid. God. I mean, this is gross. We've got politicians doing this stuff. Yeah, definitely abusing power. Hi, 2fan number one. You know what? I knew that. Okay, yeah, Roy Moore. I remember that. What the heck did Roy Moore do? Not sure why the list... Is it because... Oh, allegations without convictions. Okay, I was about to say, because that was a big thing. That guy, and I forgot how old that child was. I think like 16 or something like that. But yeah, there are a lot of examples of lawmakers abusing children. A lot of lawmakers convicted of abusing kids over the years. And it's interesting because, you know, a lot of these people were caught with 17, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Okay? Yeah. Lots of 15, 16, 17-year-olds. One of them, 13-year-old. But we have all these laws in these different states that allow a marriage to keep people out of jail. Let me see if I can find any example, because what was that number again? There was a number about exactly how many, or approximately how many, were the get out of jail free card for the statutory thing. Let's see. How many? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find approximately how many. I thought I had it. Approximately how many of those child marriages were done to prevent some guy from going to prison. Oh, thank you, Mandy. Okay. Oh, I'm conflating two different issues. I apologize. I'm thinking I had the number for the get out of jail free card, but it's actually the loophole for immigration, which again, that number was 5,000 5,000 cases of adults petitioning for visas on behalf of minors. 3,000 of those cases where the minors were seeking to bring in older fiancés. But yeah, children as young as 14 years old over a 10-year period. That's where those numbers were coming from. I couldn't remember exactly where. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Does anybody have anything? Would anybody else like to come up or have anything to say?
You mentioned loopholes.
Yes.
To protect people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever heard about this. I did some digging. There's these things called the Major Crimes Act, I think 1885, and an Oliphant versus some Squamish readings. I forgot I can't say it right. But these laws and acts, bills or whatever, are set up to take away the sovereignty of tribal people.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right here. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
It's bad. It's really bad. They can't prosecute if it happens on a reservation on tribal lands. They can't do anything about it. So it's like genocide. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Oh wow. Wait. Oh, so you're just talking about like indigenous persons on reservations. Because that's what it was for crimes committed by indigenous persons on reservations.
No. It is crimes committed against indigenous persons by someone off of the reservation. So say I go onto a reservation and I commit a heinous crime against anybody there. They cannot prosecute me on that land. They have to release me over to, the local police department, who then doesn't prosecute, and I walk free.
Let's see.
That's not that crime that took place in another jurisdiction, so they're allowed to go back to where their jurisdiction is, without penalty, pretty much. They don't have to prosecute them if they don't want to.
Absolutely, and because it happened to an indigenous person.
Yeah, it was because I'm looking at it on the archives of the U.S. Department of Justice. Yeah, it's over indigenous people who commit any of the listed offenses, and then there's a bunch of listed offenses, regardless of whether the victim was native, indigenous, or non-indigenous. But it's specifically talking about indigenous people committing offenses, not
Is that the Major Crimes Act or the Oliphant ruling?
Oh, the Major Crimes Act.
The Oliphant ruling also strengthens taking away the sovereignty and the rights. So the Oliphant ruling, I think it was 1976. Oliphant versus... Oh God, I can't pronounce the name.
Okay, let me grab this from Department of Justice. Okay, so yeah, Supreme Court, and this is from justice.gov. The Supreme Court held in Oliphant versus Squamish Indian Tribe 435 U.S. 199 or 191 back in 1978 that the tribes lost authority to try non-Indians when they became dependents of the United States. The court extended this disability to prosecution of, it says, Indians. who were non-members of the tribe. So
the system is set up to fail them on purpose. There's not justice for all, only some. It's one of the craziest things I've ever read about equality. There's not. It says justice for all, but it doesn't. It's never existed. Not for natives, not for indigenous people. It's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really big problem. And I looked into how do you undo something like that. You have to go through Senate, you have to go through Congress, you have to go through, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. The Supreme Court, like, one protects the other one. One will uphold the other one. And so that's why it hasn't been overturned yet.
Okay. Oh, well, okay. So I would have to see, like, specific cases where people got away with crimes because they were, you know what I mean? Like, did somebody just wash their, or did they just say that you can't try them there? Kind of like, because the way this is, it's kind of making it like the tribal lands are like their own country.
Yes, they're sovereign nations.
Right. And so...
But they're not. They say they are, but they're not.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm sorry, we're kind of going, like, off topic of what we're talking about in here. I don't want to veer too far off of child brides. Okay? I don't want to do that.
It concerns me that we still have 31 states that the age of consent is 16. That's crazy. 31 states.
Mm-hmm.
The age of consent is 16, and then there's a couple more that's 17, but we only have 50 states, and 31 of them say 16 is fine. So if 16 is fine for consent, then you know the child marriage can happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you start having sex at 16, that means that you literally can give birth. You know.
How do you change it though?
Well, that would be people taking it to the ballot box. Please like the live, please share the live, and if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Readings was asking about what states have that have no age limit for marriages. That's California, Mississippi, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. Those states have no limit. And how does... Let's see. Babe Etchen is asking, how does child marriage tie into jailbirds? So what I wanted to fucking talk about today. Okay? Because it's important. I don't know. I don't need a reason.
In South Carolina, when we were in the military, they said do not sign into any hotel as Mr. and Mrs. Because of South Carolina law, if you sign in a hotel as Mr. and Mrs., you were legally considered man and wife. So that was another way of getting over on bringing people. I mean, they could groom people that way too. The law that would cover them. Mm-hmm. It was the old law on the books. I don't know if they ever repealed it, but I mean, we were told specifically do not sign in anywhere because you would have just gotten a spouse.
That is just wild.
Isn't that insane?
That is wild.
So just grab you a girl, caveman style, and drag her to a hotel and sign Mr. and Mrs.
Seriously? And where was this?
This was in South Carolina. This was a law in the books in South Carolina in 1983.
Oh my God.
That's how archaic things used to be. I mean, they're still archaic, but I'm just wondering if that law was ever appealed off their books.
Probably not.
Definitely
That would be, because, there's like a lot of laws. I feel like people are waiting for stuff to come back. People are waiting for certain things to come back. And then they don't have to mess with anything. They've already got a law in the books.
Exactly.
Which is very frightening. Very frightening. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm petty. I can't believe somebody asked me, how does this tie into prison stuff? Why was that a question?
They also have incentives to marry when you're young. Like in Texas, I took the TABC class, and you can legally serve a minor if they're married and present their marriage certificate and their birth certificate. You can serve them. You can serve them alcohol.
That's pretty gross. Yeah, you're saying no shade, you were just curious. Why? Keep that. Some things you don't have to type everything out that comes in your head. I'm just saying. Cause it sounds rude. Anyway. Let's see, you can't divorce until you're an adult. Exactly. You can't enter into a contract because somebody entered the contract in there for you. Oh my God.
I thought that kids weren't allowed to enter into any contract.
Well, but that's the thing. So their parents allow it. Their parents sign them up, or a guardian, or a judge's order. And actually, let's look a little bit more into these judge's orders, because what the hell? Who is doing that? Well, actually, I can...
And when you're groomed, you'll fight against your parent. Your parent will become your enemy, and the groomer you'll look at them as a savior. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome. You know what I mean? And you'll fight against your parents. So a lot of the time, I believe these parents are agreeing to it because if they don't, their child is threatening, well, you'll never see me again. I'll run off with them anyway.
Yeah, that's what happened with that young lady that I was talking about. She ran off.
Yep.
Okay, here's the thing about judicial orders for child marriage. So in states where it is permitted, a judge can order child marriage only after a formal petition and a court hearing. The judge must find that the marriage is in the minor's best interest and there is no coercion.
How do you do that? You can't do that, though.
Specific criteria for a judge's order can vary by state, but often include a review of the minor's circumstances, a mandatory private interview, and the appointment of an attorney for the minor.
I hate it.
Let's see. Common requirements for a judicial order. Best interest of the minor. The judge must determine that the marriage is in the minor's best interest. Private interview. The judge is required to interview the minor privately to ensure they're not being... okay. God. Background checked. Okay. So the judge may be required to examine the criminal record and protective order history of the prospective spouse. Age difference. Some states prohibit granting an order if the age difference between the spouses is too great, such as more than 4 years. But in some cases, 4 years is huge when you're talking about a 16-year-old between a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old. That is a huge difference. And then waiting period. Some states have a waiting period between the court order and the issuance of the marriage license. Criminal history. Okay, so a judge is prohibited from granting an order if the prospective spouse has a criminal history involving minors. But that doesn't count if the criminal history if he's the abuser of that minor and hasn't been caught for anything else yet. That doesn't include that because he's never been caught. And then lack of consent, which again, this is stupid. In some jurisdictions, the judge cannot approve a marriage without the minor's consent or if the minor is being coerced. But again, the minor can't consent because we're talking about a minor.
Yeah, they can't.
The minor.
I was groomed young, and you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing bad about the person that I thought I loved. Now, as an adult, I realize how wrong it is. You know what I mean? I realize it's not love.
Mm-hmm.
At that age, you're impressionable, and your brain isn't fully formed, and you truly believe I feel it's like a form of Stockholm syndrome. You truly think you love that person, and you can't tell them nothing. They're not going to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're brainwashed and they're controlled.
Yep. Kamikaze saying some judges force pregnant underage girls to marry their abuser. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heartbeat and please subscribe. Yeah, this is a huge, huge problem in our country as we act like it's just everybody else. Those third world countries or undeveloped countries or blah, 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 blah.
I looked into that law that I was talking about in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It ended in 2019. Wow. 2019. It just ended. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, this is frightening. This is gross. This is gross. So yes, that's it. That's the topic. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that.
Now that we're all collectively grossed out, I guess what do we do about it?
Vote. Petitions.
I think getting more women into Congress and Senate, getting more women into law enforcement, getting more women into positions that provide us advocacy and power.
Yeah, I think Biden appointed 34 judges. They were all female.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
So we're on our way, and I'm actually starting to know female judges now. So that's a big, I got telephone numbers of female judges. That's something that I guess I've lived long enough to have that.
Twitter Inc. Infinite Karma is saying voting means nothing in regards to this issue. I very much disagree. I disagree. Because we're not talking about presidential elections. They can't do shit about that. We can't create our own system. Like, how do you do that without voting? Like, I'm not trying to be mean right now, but I mean, like, come on. Finish the thought, please. Okay? How are you supposed to create your own system? We have to vote. We have to get with the legislators. We have to vote in people that are going to make this change. If they're not going to do what we're asking of them, then we vote them out of their seats and, put in people that will.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we need to be contacting our congressmen too and telling them what we want. We need to, blow up their phones and their emails saying that we want these things changed.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, petitions really help. I think petitions, and if worse comes to worse, we march. Just like with women's suffrage. That didn't happen until people started marching.
Mm-hmm.
Marching.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. Hold on. I have to say this. A registered militia that protects and informs. No. I'm sorry. And okay. And now because. All right. You're talking about a registered militia. But do you know where we are as a country right now? That's not going to fly anywhere. That's not going to fly. No. You can't... no. That's not going to fly. That's going to get... The laws are not changing no matter how we vote. But that's the thing. You have to vote in your local elections because these laws that are on the books are local laws. They're local and state. You have to vote from the bottom up, okay? You're not going to vote in a governor and that's how your laws are going to change. That's not how it works. You've got to vote for people. Like, you have to vote for the correct people that can actually make those changes. The people that are responsible for making those changes. The people that draw maps. Like you've got to... But the idea of not... that voting wouldn't help... to me, and I'm sorry to say this, but I'm not sorry to say this, okay? It's a very head up the ass statement, okay? Oh, y'all, thank you so much for completing that finger heart goal. What's going on, Miso? But it's a very head up the ass statement to make that that voting isn't going to help anything. When people say that voting doesn't change things, what they're saying really is that they don't understand civics. That they don't understand how things work. Okay? That is silly. Okay? That is silly. Okay? People that say things like that don't vote for any election. If they vote at all, they vote for the president of the United States. You're saying if we did, the laws would not exist to begin with. The laws are already on the books. Twitter Inc., are you talking about building a time machine then? And going back in time and then having a militia? Because that doesn't make sense. We can't go back in time. We have to deal with the present. And presently, the only thing that you can do is get with your lawmakers, voice what you want, voice your concerns, and work that way. You have to work from the bottom up. You have to know first who is in charge of making the laws that we have issues with, and working that way. I don't know what else to say about that. But let me shout out everybody that contributed to the live goal. Livy, Sunchaser, Carolina Queen, Resist, Mandy, Momo, Candy Cane, Sabrina, Miso, Tandra, Restless, Lisa, Good Luck, Chronically, Sadie, and Mashed Potatoes. Thank y'all so much for completing the live goal. I really do appreciate it. Every coin that gets thrown in helps float this live so I can keep talking about issues such as this. I do appreciate you. But yeah, we can't just... I'm sorry. Nobody running for office locally is passionate. Again, please go look up some stuff on civics. Okay? Because grabbing a bunch of weapons and marching around isn't going to do anything. Carolina Queen, thank you so much for the paper crane. What a trip. Thank you for the paper crane. And Bex, thank you for the daily heart me. And honestly, that's the kind of stuff. And okay, we have to stand to fight. You fight in the ballot box. Is that like, I'm not understanding why that is so difficult to understand. This isn't a movie. This isn't a video game. Okay? This isn't a television show. This isn't a book. This is real life. And in real life, you're not going to get anywhere by, like who are you going to grab up and... No, that's not how change happens in real life. And especially where we are right now, if you're thinking that you're going to grab up some stuff and fight, do you live under a rock? Like, do you understand what's happening in our country today? Nothing is going to get done that way. And actually, the people that got themselves involved in that are probably going to end up in prison or worse.
I think art and music help. I think that they help bring awareness and a form of activism without putting people in danger like marching does. When you protest in the street, there's so many factors that come into play that put people in danger, that put businesses in danger, the loss of human life, bodily injury. I think that, I mean, I've been trying to start an art movement called dissent art. So far it's only me, but how do you go into somebody's home and make them think about things without causing harm? How do you, you know what I mean? You have to do that through TV, through movies, through art, through music. It's a form of activism and protest that is safe, where we could all do it from our own home without putting ourselves, you know, in danger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, mm-hmm. Thank you. Let's see. Kamikaze is saying, and now they can arrest people for just being around a federal building. Yeah, quietly changed that this week. I'm not saying unalive anyone. We need to find the honorable doctor schools. Yeah, again, are you under a rock? Like, you're not going to find a doctor that is going to risk their license to get out in the streets and with weapon and be a militia. That's not going to happen. I don't understand. I'm not understanding, like, Momo, thank you so much for all those paper cranes. Yeah, I'm not understanding why you're not getting that. But actually, I don't know. And I'm gonna make an assumption here. I'm gonna make an assumption about this. I'm going to assume that you are a person in this country that doesn't have many predators. That's probably like the nicest way I can say that. I'm going to assume you're a person in this country that doesn't really have many natural predators. And by that, I'm going to assume that your one natural predator is a man. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing is your one natural predator. Because, oh, yeah, Momo, I saw that. Awesome. Yeah, that was crazy. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and subscribe. I'm going to tell you something right now. And I'm going to try not... I'm going to be nice. Again, no, Momo, you're adorable. Momo, I love you. I love you. Because actually, you probably just stopped me from blowing up. For those that might not know, I'm a black woman. Okay. For those that might not have noticed, I'm a black woman. Okay. And so, as a black woman in the United States, I have an understanding that there are, you can't just do whatever you want. I can't talk to the police however I want. You're a black single mother of 7. I really doubt that. I highly doubt this. Talking about a militia, I'm sorry. Black single moms don't talk about fucking militias. You're a troll. You've got to be. You've got to be a troll. There's no fucking way. Yeah, absolutely not. You're a troll. Because, yeah, black women aren't talking about militias. That's the stupidest shit. Look at your business certificate. Your business certificate isn't going to tell me shit about you. Yeah. Troll, mother of 7. Actually, that mother of 7 shit is that bullshit that, those people that are making those AI, bullshit about the SNAP benefits. They're saying, I'm a single mother of 7 and it's the taxpayer's responsibility to take care. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. before I get upset. The reason, though, is, hang on a second. I'm still in the middle of something. Yeah, militia. What the hell? That's why they're saying voting doesn't help and talking about militias. They want people that look like me in the streets. It's probably a bot trying to start a race war or something in like a little inconspicuous way. Just dumb. Yeah. Just dumb. All right.
So you mentioned a doctor isn't gonna, pick up a gun and fight or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Nobody wants to put themselves in harm's way. But all of us could pick up a crayon or a marker or a paintbrush. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not. Fuck that. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm like the last person that's gonna frickin' protest shit. I'm not protesting anything. I'm not out marching. I'm not making a fucking sign.
No, I'm not marching either, but I'll make art.
Oh.
Safely. You know what I mean? In my own home, I'll make art, I'll make music, and I'll put that out in the world and protest and, do it that way where it's safe and I'm not putting, myself in harm's way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Let's see, Medusa saying, and if we wanted to form a militia, we're definitely not talking about it online. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, that would be crazy. Thank you, Karmakazi. Thank you. Man. Yeah, that was about to give me a headache, and I'm like, oh, that's not a person. That can't be. Or, a serious person. Medusa, thank you so much for the paper crane. Oh my god. That was outrageous. I haven't seen that in a while. Oh, thank you again for the paper crane. Let's see. There is no right course of action, nor is a single one of us going to make the change. Well, I know the definite wrong course of action would be to, try to protest. It's like, just go, actually, no, the right course of action is literally voting. There is a right course of action. I'm so tired of people not understanding that is how change happens. So many people have just lost the plot. Medusa, thank you so much for all those paper cranes. I really do appreciate you. Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, like a lot. Okay. Because I don't want to talk, because I think, I'm not trying to get banned. Actually, that's probably what that whole thing is about, is, yeah, because I've already been banned once when I was talking about government stuff. But, yeah, VOTING in the lowest levels of government. Understanding who does what. Like, oh yeah, who draws the district maps? Who draws the maps? Because the, those races are races. And it depends on the maps. How are the cranes different colors today? Aren't they always blue? You always just see blue? Yeah, I've seen pink and yellow too.
You can pick it.
Huh?
It has an option to pick different colors when you buy it.
I didn't know that.
At the top? Yeah, you can pick, I think, purple, pink, blue.
Oh. Thank you, Karmakazi. I didn't know that. I thought it was just random.
No,
Thank you.
Pick it.
What? I didn't know that was it. I didn't know that. Oh, Karmakazi, thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't know. Orange? Wait, what did I say? Pink? Purple? I thought it was yellow. They got a rainbow? Yeah. Oh my goodness, I did not know that. Yeah, I thought it was just random. I thought the thing just did what it wanted to do. Oh.
It might mean something different. I don't really know what the different colors mean.
Yeah. Yeah, my brain is tired. Oh, Miso, thank you so much for the paper crane. Yeah, my brain is tired today. I was thinking about talking more about, it didn't let you choose, Miso? Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about talking more about grooming, but I don't want to. Tonight. I was gonna do like, okay, grooming in media. I was going to talk about, oh, thanks, Momo. Hey, Reese. I was going to talk about, like Twilight, like the vampire movies and stuff. How, you know, you've got like romanticizing weird age gap relationships, but you've got vampires, and yeah, vampires don't really exist, but, you know, why are they hanging out at the high schools? All right, Brie Christina, or Charisma. Thanks for coming up. Yeah. Yeah, that was some silliness right there.
Grooming is one of the top enemies in this fight because it brainwashes the victim to the point to where they don't even know that they're enslaved. They don't even know that they're a victim. They believe that it's through love.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Readings asked, do I send out emails with the lives? No. I typically do a video about 5 to 15 minutes before I go live. But I do have this saved. Like, if you go to my Tubes of You account, like it's streaming right now there. And so you'll be able to watch it later. But I probably will talk about this again some other time. Yeah. This is interesting. This whole topic came about because I had recently read The Handmaid's Tale. And I was kind of freaking out about how close things were looking to Margaret Atwood's book. And yeah, but then I kind of shelved it. I shelved the outline because, and this isn't even the outline. I shelved the idea. Actually, there is a whole outline, but because TikTok changed up some stuff back in, I think it was September. And so I never ran the thing. Yes, the book was written from actual history. Right. Exactly. Quinn, that is terrible. So, God, what was I saying? Okay, so I wanted to be really careful about what I talked about. And so I started taking pieces out of that outline and adding more stuff to it. And so this was one of the things, child marriage, the lack of consent, you know, along with some coercion and lack of agency for girls that end up victims of this type of oppression. There's probably going to be more stuff because I didn't want to like go full, you know, Margaret Atwood in an outline because I wanted to be careful because yeah, then like shortly after, like before I could even run the thing, I got banned for a week and that really hurt. And so now I'm kind of taking stuff apart and running it. But actually, so I was supposed, because I know I said last night I was going to be talking about something old. This is old. This is actually old, but I've just never run it before. But I was thinking about it because that situation with that freaking that murderer guy that keeps talking trash about me, and the fact that he kept mentioning 17, like he was stuck on the age 17 and he was glitching out at talking about 17, like when he was trying to make the distinction between him, because he feels like he is better than a chomo because he's a murderer, and so he doesn't touch children, he just, you know, unalives people, whatever. And then he said a bunch of weird stuff in the video, but something about the interaction over the last couple of days was like jogging my memory about the Margaret Atwood outline and the fact that I have this other information that I have not run. And I was like, oh, what do I have? And so we're talking about this today. I was thinking about talking about the diseases today, but I was like, I don't want to talk about that on a Saturday. Let's talk about this thing that I haven't run yet. So I hope you guys like the outline. There's some things that I might tweak. I might add like some more information, especially like about lawmakers. I think there's a little bit more stuff that I could put in there. Like, hey, Cali girl, like the lawmakers that have been caught with children, because that would play more into like, why is it that we don't have a national minimum age requirement for marriage in this country? Because that whole point would be, like, of course there isn't one if we have people that have a bunch of influence doing the same things. They're not going to make laws that are going to hurt them. Especially on a situation like this. So yeah, there was some stuff that I wanted to get into that I left out because I wasn't sure how it would play. I didn't want the outline to turn into a circus. But yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think of it? I'll get your opinion. What did y'all think of the outline for everybody that's still here? Did you like it? How'd you feel?
What do you mean by outline?
When I talk about these things, I write. Like, I'm writing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Uh-huh.
I like that. So, where do you put it?
It's like it's on my computer, my tablet. What do you mean?
Oh, okay.
No, like I write the outline for myself. I'm neurodivergent. Okay, it takes me a while to put things together in a coherent fashion.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but every time I'm talking about anything, and it's mostly prison stuff, that I talk about, that's my main focus. But, I write and then I run it here.
Okay, so this is the outline.
Yes, this is the outline, but this is my first time running this particular outline.
I love it. I mean, I've stayed the whole time. This is an issue that is hugely important that people need to know about, because I just found out about it about a month ago and I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I thought this only happened in other countries. It's happening on our own soil.
Yeah, sure is. While we're pointing the finger at other countries, it's almost like our country has a thing where we kind of deflect. We deflect a lot on different issues, not just this one, but a whole lot of other issues.
Distraction.
Mm-hmm. We're like, hey, look at these people over there. They're doing things way worse. But no, it's the same stuff.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Callie girl.
I was just gonna request that I'm typing up some stuff for work, so I might not stay on, the talking area. I'll probably get back in the comments, but I know you're saying that you're gonna discuss how we need a national age limit and all this good stuff, and I was just gonna touch on your point and say I totally agree in every way, really, but. Me locally, I'm going to tell you something I found out recently. I live in an area of Texas where we're just outside of Mexico. We're just bigger than a town. So we are a little city. But we had a detective here. I want to say he's a detective. He could be a regular police officer, but I think this guy's a detective. He just got arrested, indicted, whatever he's going to court for, dating a 17-year-old. Okay? The thing is... It made the news for a hot second, but do you know what's sad? The way I found out about it on our local Facebook page for our city. Not big news, not national news, not newspapers, not our Facebook page, for God's sake. Yeah. So I was just saying it needs to be a lot more attention brought to these things. I feel like a case even like that. All of Texas needs to know. I'm in Texas, by the way. All of Texas needs to know about it. This guy is in a pretty decent sized city, not too far from San Antonio, not too far from, any of the other major areas. We just live in a smaller area. But you know what I'm saying? It's like he could easily be transferred from one police department to San Antonio, which is it's a few hours away from me, don't get me wrong, because I live in an area where that's the first big city we have access to. Right. Okay. But the thing is, if he went over there, nobody would probably even know. If he keeps his job, which I doubt, but I'm saying, what if he did? It just made me, I think outside the box like that. I can, just, I overly imagine the things that could happen when I think about things, but I'm just saying it needs to be way more attention brought to these sorts of things, and maybe even national news. It needed to be reported or something like that, where, there's a segment on the national news that says, okay, today, this is what's going on. And so people know. That's all I was saying.
I think part of the reason for that is because of all the loopholes. Because if more people were aware, they want to cover it up. It's like, because then people would be pushing really hard for a national minimum age requirement for marriage.
Exposure, some type of national exposure that he did that. You know what I'm saying? Even though, okay, fine, he'll probably end up on the registry. But the thing is, unless you go check, you know, he can move to some other neighborhood, get a different job, and you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah. Hi, Ladies Kitchen.
I know the difference between living here and living in a huge city, because I'm originally from Los Angeles, and I know how things can easily just, you know, people can move into your neighborhood, you know.
Oh, Ladies Kitchen.
No, I'm gonna drop back down. Thanks for letting me, you know. But I just wanted to touch on there needs to be more exposure somehow. But,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that, because it's
If you want to drop me back down, or if you want to leave me here, I can comment here and there if you want, but it doesn't matter.
Well, actually, I'm about to go and spend some time with my family. But I will be back. I'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't think I have the heart.
To your lives.
Okay.
So I've seen a few, and I like the fact that there's some real dialogue here instead of just a bunch of people talking about some weird prompt. So.
Thank you. All right. Have a good day. Thank you for coming up.
Thanks for having me. Hope y'all have a good night.
Thank you for coming up. All right, y'all. So, yeah, that was it. That was it today. Let me stop this watch. Let's see. We made it to 150,000 likes. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the shares and the power shares. Thank you for keeping the chat going. Thank you to the people that came up on the panel and shared your experiences and some stories about what you've been in your opinions. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that gifted. I really do appreciate you. Thank you to my mods. I appreciate you so much. Momo, the heart of the group. Okay. Thank you so much. But yes, I'm going to go get some Chinese food. I got to go check on my child, the adult child, who should be awake right now. I told her we're doing lunch, and so I've got to grab lunch for us. Oh, Karmakazi, thank you so much for all those paper cranes. I appreciate you. All right, everybody. I'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern. No battles. I'm not trying to battle. I need a break, okay? I need a break. So we're just going to be doing this straight up like old school, like today. Old school Lavender Echoes, okay? Oh, God. Did I just refer to myself in the third person? When I said Lavender Echoes, I meant like this. Okay, not me, because that's... people that... The third person people are just... Ugh. Anyway. Thank you all so much for being here. I do appreciate every one of you. And I will be back at 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Bye, everybody. What am I talking about? Okay. Where am I at right now? This is a nice week. I'm so hungry. I'm so fucking hungry. This is turning out to be a nice week. 508. $120. Let's add it all. Let's add the pennies. Plus 120.69 equals $628.88. Oh, Lord.